Chug, 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 chug. Come on.
Ooh, ooh.
Come on.
Ooh. Oh, that was quick.
I've just had to turn notification off for you. For this Zoom meeting.
Oh, oh.
Hello. Oh, I think we're live. We're live on YouTube. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Podcast number 11 on the 11th. Hello, girlies. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. You?
Yeah, we're all good.
Yeah. The only thing we haven't got really good at the minute is internet connection. So we just.
Yeah, if it does go a bit funny, it's us.
It's us.
Well, it's not us.
Right.
It's the mast that's been renovated or something.
Yeah, probably putting 5G on. Thank God for that, we get a decent connection.
Yeah. You'll have to stop it.
Yeah. My hair might go green, but yeah, we've
but
got a wicked connection.
Right.
Judith,
Who's
you've
gonna
frozen.
start?
I don't know why. That's
Have
better.
I? Am I unfroze?
You're unfrozen now. Yeah.
You're all
Goodness.
right from this angle?
Professional as ever.
Aren't we?
Aren't we?
I know, we're a little bit late, so just had to make a cuppa.
No, we're trying that new Lotus flower out, aren't we?
Yeah. Blue Lotus tea.
Supplied by Judith, thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you very much, Judy.
My pleasure. My
Is it
pleasure.
So
vegan?
tonight
Yeah.
I'm on a big glass of quinine and Lotus flower.
Yeah, a bit of Egyptian.
Oh,
So
right.
if you hear a bump, they don't mix.
Yeah. Have you
Pardon, love?
ever smelt that Blue Lotus? You ever smelt it? Oh,
It smells
have
good.
you ever smelt the Blue Lotus?
Not,
It's
not,
Oh, the
no,
actual flower.
only, all I've got is the dried
We've got
flowers.
the
I mean, the
dried.
dried,
It's
Mm.
divine.
these are dried. I bet it's
And they
gorgeous.
smell
today.
lovely.
They
Yeah.
do smell nice. They do. They taste
Yeah.
rather nice. Don't they? Well,
But the actual heads are a bit bitter, aren't they?
Yeah, the leaves aren't so bad. If you make a cup of tea with the leaves,
The petals.
the petal. Right, then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not as bitter as the actual flower head.
Mm.
Judy's just wandering off, and I've forgotten what I'm wandering off. Bugger off. Oh, I do know what I'm going for.
You know what?
Most
You know
of-
what I always thought with wicked invention, a Velcro suit, and we could just stick it down.
Yeah.
You stick her anywhere.
There's that ceiling again.
On the ceiling, anywhere.
I think she's gone down a wormhole. Oh,
Yeah.
there you are.
I did say I were buggering off for a minute.
I think there's a few more people coming on later as well.
Yeah, I hope so. Be nice.
think
Be
so.
interesting.
Yeah, there's got the guy from Australia. I think he's coming on later, but it's a bit too early for him, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're all a bit tender over there, aren't they? They've been sending avalanche of things to me because I'm here now, and I go, well, what? I can't do anything, like, you know, like, but I don't know what hit them because they've had a lot of freedom, being outdoors, very much an outdoors nation with a lot of freedoms. So you know, it's like a big shock what's going on, but. They're feeling very tender and
Yeah, I can imagine.
Very delicate.
Well, you see, because the thing is, and that's what I was going to talk about. Because like many years ago, we used to go clubbing with some friends and stuff. We're not seeing him for about at that particular time. We're not seeing him for about 8 years, something like that. And he came down to stop with us, and he brought his girlfriend at the time with us, and we was having a conversation. And before they got together, she was going to marry somebody that was in the Illuminati. Right.
Ah.
But apparently there's so many interviews you have.
Oh,
Sorry?
right. Yeah. So they really
Apparently-
screen you, don't they?
Yeah, the script. Anyway, she was on her. This is really weird. And this
Judy, can I just
is about 15, probably 16. Go on.
You're breaking up some chronic now, Juicy. Juicy.
Are we?
Oh, we.
Yeah.
I
So
don't find you are.
everything that you've
Nothing
I
said
don't
about
find
it,
it.
has
No,
been out.
it's the Duncan internet, isn't
The
it?
internet.
I'm,
Yeah. But I
It-
can
no,
hear you.
Can you
so
can you hear us? Can you hear us? Okay.
Yeah, I can.
Okay.
But so.
are
But
you hearing
early
it word
you
for
were breaking
word?
up.
Are you hearing it
Good.
word for word, Julia?
Yeah, I am. Yeah.
Because I
Yeah.
haven't. I've just
You
totally
are.
missed everything you got as far as saying that put you through 15 interviews, and then I heard not a word, and then you said a little bit more, and then it stopped again, and then it's just dead. Your end, Daz. I'm not hearing any of it, love.
Yeah.
Right. So you didn't hear any of it at all.
No,
Picture can't.
no, no.
Should we carry on to see what happened?
Just carry on and see what happens.
Oh,
I'm sorry.
It's not great, is it?
yeah.
I thought for a minute
That's
that
that
it was.
Yeah. No. I need to know because
I
the
thought
fact
maybe
of
YouTube that had latched onto what you were talking about and put their spoke in.
no,
But
it's
no.
where we live. They're doing repairs to the mast, and apparently it's not going to be fixed until next week sometime or something, upgrades or
Oh,
whatever. It's unreal, isn't it?
oh dear.
So we're just trying to get a better
Yeah.
connection.
Mercury's going retrograde really
I can't
soon.
see our picture,
Mercury's retrograde for 3 weeks now.
but the can hear is fine. Tash says the can hear is fine.
Okay, you can't see our
Yeah.
picture, but they can hear us fine.
Yeah.
Just
That's all
Abracadabra.
right.
That's all right.
Yeah.
That's
We're not fussed about that.
not fussed about that. They can hear, so the audio's okay.
Yeah,
Oh,
fine.
that's okay. Yeah. So yeah. And anyway, what happened was she was on a final interview, and
It was like a Zoom interview,
Zoom-
like
like
Skype.
Skype or whatever, and basically what it was a final interview, and she at that time they weren't a couple, they were just
They were
friends.
just friends, but she wanted him there. It's just a bit of support, but
Support.
not actually on screen.
So he stood like
He stood to one side and was just listening to it all.
and apparently when the interview started, one of the first things they actually say is that the first baby you have, you give it to them and you never see that baby again. This is going back 15, 16 years. And then the babies after that, or the children after that, all have the best education, the best this, and everything else.
Yeah, they'll always get the best jobs, the best everything.
You know who that is, yeah. And then basically they said was, when it all goes wrong, you and your children will be looked after.
You'll have enough food, you'll have a roof over your head, you will be looked after.
You will be looked after. Now this is going back about probably 15, 16 years.
Yeah, we got told this about 15 years ago. So it must have happened a few years before that.
Yeah. So I says, bloody hell, I says that means that's within their lifetime or our lifetime. It's
this when it all goes wrong, this big event.
This big event.
Wow.
When it all goes wrong, you will be looked after, you'll have enough food, and you'll have a roof over your head, and you will be safe.
You'll be safe. Yeah. So I went, oh my word. So that's when we started looking into other stuff, because like it's not a story you make up either, is it?
But we'd already gone through
Yeah.
the whole banks thing, so we knew how corrupt the whole world was.
Yeah.
So it was what she, even though we'd never met her before, what she'd said to us, even though it sounded way out there at the time, I think it was a bit more believable for us because of what we've been through with the banks, the Law Society, the Land Registry, everybody,
we
the
knew
financial ombudsman. We knew how corrupt the whole thing was, right up to
So
Westminster.
to you, it made sense.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
You could take it on board easier what she
Yes,
was saying.
yes,
Yeah.
I understand. Yeah.
So obviously when this kicked off a year ago, we was like,
Whoa, this is the big event. They're going for it.
this is this big event.
So
Yeah,
to begin with,
I will
we
like
were
that.
really fucking careful,
Yeah.
weren't we?
Yeah, we was like, whoa.
This is it. They're going to try and kill everybody off, and
Because of that conversation.
Yeah, all because of that conversation. So we were mega careful, weren't we?
We was uber careful only because of that conversation.
We knew what they were capable of.
And then what brought it to an end after about a week.
I'm no good at this.
We was outside a petrol garage, right? And
I was just getting my gloves on, ready to go in the petrol garage.
so she's gonna get some gloves on. This is because of what we knew.
Yeah.
She gets the gloves on, starts getting the gloves on. I gave you 40 quid. She puts it in her mouth while she puts the gloves on. I went, I don't know the point why we're doing this. This is just not going to work for me or you ever.
Just can't remember to be
So
safe.
it was like, okay, let's just sack it off and then just take it on the chin either way. And then obviously we started looking into stuff. We obviously
online. Things started coming out online about what was happening, and then we found out about the kids and what.
I was like, oh my God,
pedos and everything.
and it just all made sense, didn't it?
All right. Yeah, you fit it together. Yeah. And
it just
now
all
it's
made
what we've been through with the banks and the
everything.
Yeah.
Everything.
Yeah.
It just made complete sense because the banks, when we went through this is why we keep ourselves to ourselves.
Right.
Because the banks,
because we upset a hell of a lot of people.
Oh my God, did we upset a lot of people?
But face to face, toe to toe.
This was like face to face, toe to toe. What it was that you tell your bit of a story.
Well, I originally bought a house with my ex. We obviously split up. I wanted to buy him out, but at that point I had no clue about mortgages or anything like that. I really didn't. My dad sat with me, and so we organised what I thought was a remortgage with a different company. And
but you went into Halifax. You went into Halifax.
Yeah. Anyway, I can't exactly remember how it happened, but we organised for this bloke to come round to the house and talk about the mortgage. And
it was a bloke from the estate agent who got the Halifax bloke in.
Yes, it was. Yeah, it was. Yeah. And he they offered to do legal fees and all sorts, and I thought it was all proper and everything. So then obviously I met you.
Yeah.
And
obviously.
Then all of a sudden, I don't know how long it had been, but all of a sudden my direct debit all of a sudden wouldn't work. And I tried reinstating it, and the bank wouldn't have it. I tried reinstating it over the phone with Intelligent Finance, who it was, and for some reason it just wasn't going ahead. Then I rang Intelligent Finance up to say, can I make my payment for my mortgage over the phone? And they would only accept credit cards, and I've never had a credit card. So then I went into Halifax branch, because Halifax is the parent company of Intelligent Finance, and they wouldn't accept it either.
They didn't know who she was.
They didn't know who I was.
so right. So that was the start of it.
That was the start of it.
So
what they do is that it's you don't realise at the time, but it's a dodgy off the books mortgage. And then they make it physically impossible for you to pay your mortgage, and then they take the house off you.
So basically, what it was, we got
that's the story.
Yeah, we got all your paperwork out because you're hoarder.
I'm a hoarder. I keep everything. I kept all the paperwork. I kept all the leaflets, the envelopes, the lot. I kept it all, and we started sorting it all out and going through it all.
Yeah. So literally, we started getting all the paper,
even my bank statements, everything.
Yeah. And how the crafty buggers do it is, or at least the way they do it, they see you as a vulnerable person. So this is what I want to know if anybody else out there has been through the same thing. Yeah,
it can't just be me.
No,
can't just
be. It's because it was massive. So the thing is, when we started going through the paperwork, and then what they do is they do a switcheroo on your bank account. So
it wasn't a Halifax bank account, it was a Barclays bank.
It's Barclays Bank. So she's always been with Barclays. Yeah. So what they did was they switched it from a normal account into an electron account. So basically all for no reason, all of the cards just disappeared, usual. And they flip your account. So what they do like a copy account. It's like a out of books account. So basically what they do is when they find something that's vulnerable, say, especially single women, single girls, they say they do all the finance and everything else, and they'll sort all the legal paperwork out. Oh, connection is unstable. You okay still?
Yeah,
Yeah.
According to Flash, we're fine.
We're fine. Yeah. So what they do is they set up. They said that they propose as Halifax Bank. Halifax is the instigator of the whole thing. So they pose as the Halifax Bank, and then what they've got is a sister company called Intelligent Finance,
which is based in Scotland.
Which was based in Scotland
with Scottish rules.
With Scottish rules,
not English,
which is different to English rules.
And no offices in England.
No offices in England. Yeah.
But the way they get around it is because their parent company is Halifax, which was based in England.
Yeah.
That's how they get around it.
Possibly the way they do it is they have a sister company with the Halifax in England, and they open a dodgy one up in Scotland, off the books, out the way.
Mm. Yeah. Every time I tried to sort my mortgage out, or
it's always the same Scottish woman.
It was always the same woman.
Scottish.
Then randomly, for some reason, I couldn't find the phone number, so I googled the phone number for Intelligent Finance. I got the switchboard, and I went through the switchboard, and I spoke to the lady there, and I told her my mortgage number, and she was like, "That's not a mortgage number. It's not recognisable.
It's too big.
You've got letters in it." Because I had numbers and letters. So that made her ears prick up even more, didn't it?
And this is the way, folks, if you want to catch big companies out, it's the way that you address your first ever letter. Because we thought to ourselves, if we just write to the normal bank and we catch them on the fly, they're just going to blame somebody in the local branch.
It's just going to be a scapegoat who's a medial manager.
Yeah.
And the whole company itself is going to get away with it. Somebody's just going to get the sack and that'll be it.
So I come up with this wicked idea. Let's do a letter, dear Board of Directors. So it has to be opened by the Board of Directors.
Here's Terry.
Yeah. So if you ever want to write a letter and catch the big boys.
You're breaking, but I got it. Board of Directors.
You have to write dear Board of Directors, but you have to do it private and confidential.
So that only they can open it.
Secretaries can't open it. Only they can open it.
On their day of meeting. So what we did was we wrote with the problems we had, but we made it look like we're vulnerable. So vulnerable and availability is the two same. You know how to play it. So it's when we got.
Hi Terry.
Hi Terry.
Hi Debbie. Hi
Hello.
Have you been playing with hair dye again?
Yes. Hello. Look at this beautiful lodge. My hubby did it.
It looks
sorry I'm late. But you know I like to make an entrance. I'm sorry, dispensary had my order screwed up, and I was like, I got podcast, it didn't work, but whatever. Here I am. Hi.
You're all right. We're just talking about the banks and how they
I thank you because I was curious about it. I was very curious, and here you are talking about it. I was going to actually PM you.
We were just saying, when you write a letter, if you've got a problem with a company, you do private and confidential, dear Board of Directors, and only they can open it. So you hit the big boys at the top. They can't swerve it or blame it on anybody else.
They can't scapegoat it to a lower menial manager or whatever.
So what we did was we wrote with findings, but only half the amount of the findings. Yeah.
Yeah, only a couple of problems.
We knew what was going on. So we wrote to them and said, this is the problem, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, can you sort it out? So they wrote a letter.
They wrote back to me.
Yes, indeed.
and signed it and everything, saying they were going to get one of their managers to look into it. So now we know full well, we've got the Board of Directors at the top. Admitting that they've accepted it and they've replied back.
About the scam. So then when we got the rest of the information out the next day, we wrote the rest of it and go, well, you must be involved then, because the fact of all of this, and you've got on a letterheaded piece of paper that you know about it. Boom. Next letter we got back was no comment. That's literally from the.
They actually got to the point where they refused to speak to us. And it got to the point where we weren't paying mortgage,
no.
We weren't paying landline, we weren't paying gas or
Nothing.
electric, TV license, mobile phone, didn't pay none of it for about a year.
Yeah.
And not one letter, not one phone call,
Not
not a
nothing.
knock on the door, nothing.
Nothing.
I'm
So then
telling
we
you,
thought,
they don't.
what? Yeah, so we thought, well, let's take it now we're in it. We might as well stay in it and let's push this.
Yeah, we're trying to get the police involved. Well, we got everybody.
Yeah.
Whoever we thought of to write to give them all the
Mm.
evidence, we wrote to everybody.
We went to the ombudsman, and he ran away.
Yeah.
He went. No, I can't help you. Bye. Ding. It was almost like he'd come around the house, which he didn't, and shut the door and ran away. It was like, oh my God.
I actually got a letter from Halifax stating they didn't know who I was.
Well, no,
At my address.
I sent you in.
Yeah.
I went, go in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Still got it, didn't
Yeah,
I?
go in there into the Halifax, yeah, and pretend, yeah, that somebody's trying to defraud you, and ask them if they know who you are, blah blah blah.
And show them a driving license.
Show me driving license
with my address on it.
So they wrote her on a piece of letter-headed paper. Yeah, gone.
They don't know who I am. At my address, I don't have any accounts with them whatsoever. I don't owe them any money at all. And they were the ones that were supposed to be taking my house off.
And they're the ones trying to repossess the house underneath the Halifax's name.
Yeah, because they went to court. They opened a court case stating they were Halifax trading as Intelligent Finance,
as Dryden solicitors. Yeah.
Yeah, their solicitors were called Drydens.
Called Drydens. Yeah.
Which I think that was also based in Scotland as well.
I don't know where.
Supposedly.
Well, so we started like trying to do background checks on these so-called solicitors that were writing to us. We couldn't find anything. Now, this is where it gets even a bit more weird. The company I worked for at that time, this bloke started working for the company, and I was working in the yard quite a lot, which I don't usually do. And he says to me, when I was talking about it, he says, I'm a private investigator in my spare time, and I've got a code that you can put into your computer. You can go behind the scenes and you can see if they're using dead people's names, which they usually do. He says, I'm willing to give it. And I went,
he was willing to give Juicy that code so that we could go behind the scenes and check these people out.
Behind data control.
Yeah.
So I says,
data protection.
Yeah. So I says to him, I says, thank you very much for trusting me to do that, but I'd sooner
you do it.
You do it. Yeah.
We'll give you the info.
We'll give you the info. You do it, and then let me know what happened. Anyway, about 2 weeks later, he come back and he went, I have searched everywhere. Absolutely. Birth
certificates, death certificates, marriage certificates, everything.
And
these people do not exist.
These people do not exist.
Not one person in that on the web. They had a website with employee names and all sorts, and not one person existed.
Not one person.
But they were the ones that were taking us to court for within.
They was working for Halifax, Dryden solicitors, working for Halifax, repossessing your house because you couldn't pay because they didn't know who you were. Yeah, but we had a letter from Halifax saying we don't owe any money or know who you are either. Yeah.
At my address.
But we've also got the previous letter from
AI.
Halifax. Yeah, from Halifax saying we'll sort the problem out.
Yeah, it sounds like it's AI, AI, and it's mirroring stuff. It's like mirroring. AI, but AI can pick up names, and I'm sure there's software by now they can just run these fake accounts, and
But the thing is, they've not set this account up just for you because you're not that special.
No.
You know what I mean?
You must do it for
millions of people. Millions. Well, it goes on.
And the worst thing about it was at the time.
Is it to launder? Is it to launder the money?
Sorry.
Yeah.
To go through someone else's name they don't know anything about it, they're laundering it through it.
What they do is they take the property off.
Yeah. Now this is how clever they are because they do all your legal stuff. What they do is because your other bank account that you had the mortgage with was at Cheltenham and Gloucester, right? Yeah. So I goes, right, day out for you, Cheltenham and Gloucester, take a picnic and ask and sit in there, and you want the paperwork for who paid and how it was paid your mortgage off. Because obviously.
So they pay the original mortgage off with my ex.
With her ex. Because somebody must have paid it.
So I went in there with sandwiches, crisps, drink, the lot.
She's in there all day.
They made me wait, and every time a customer came in, I started gobbing off. just to be a pain in the arse until they gave me what I wanted.
Yeah. So in the end, we found out that the somebody came in with a check of, I think it was only about, it's a long time ago, 55,000.
They gave me the paperwork, Cheltenham and Gloucester
Yeah.
paperwork, that stated me and my solicitor had gone into Cheltenham and Gloucester with a Barclays check and paid off the whole mortgage in full. Not a repossession. It was me and my solicitor had paid off the mortgage in full. And then I got all my, are you lot still there? Because you're all frozen.
Yeah. Oh, yes. I'm here.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
Where was it? Intently
Absolutely
listening.
riveted.
I got all my paperwork out and realised that I'd actually got the deeds to the house.
She had the deeds in the house.
I didn't know there were deeds.
I know.
though, at
We
the
got the
time.
paperwork.
I had no clue.
We started digging, we got the deeds because they made it look like she come into money and the
It
paper.
looked like I paid it off in full.
And they sent
with
the
my
deeds
sister.
from Cheltenham and Gloucester to her. So she had the deeds in her house, which means you own your house.
Yeah.
You can't get
Yeah.
your deeds
Yeah.
unless you pay your mortgage off. So this is the way that the Halifax and that was doing it. It was going in, so they go in, making it look like you've come into money. You're paying your mortgage off, and then they take it off the books. And then all the paperwork then is illegal paperwork. And then it's going into a dodgy banking. It's going into her Barclays account, yeah, because the money was still going out by standing order out of her Barclays account. But now the Barclays check that paid the mortgage off, so you can see that Barclays are involved now. So
Yeah.
Barclays, TSB,
Because
Cheltenham and Gloucester.
Yeah, my direct debit that did work for a bit shouldn't have worked at all because it had letters and numbers in it, and a mortgage,
Yeah,
a direct debit should only be a bank account numbers, shouldn't it? Whereas this has got
Yes,
letters in it as well, hadn't it?
it
So
yeah.
it was all dodgy. So then we started looking at all my bank statements,
Oh yeah,
and we realised 1 minute my bank account looked normal, and then the next minute my bank statements were coming from a PO box.
yeah.
So then we
Oh.
looked into this PO box, Barclays, and according to the post office, this PO box number doesn't exist.
Don't exist. So we
Right.
went looking for this place. I couldn't find it. So we're like, with it.
Oh my God, is anything above board?
So then we thought, right, let's go to the land registry and say, I want Halifax's name taken off the mortgage because we've got proof
We've got the deeds,
and the deeds,
and we've got a letter from Halifax stating they don't know who I am.
and we could prove it being paid off in full. So we went into the land registry and went, we want that changing because it's wrong. Because illegally it was wrong because we had the deeds and it was all paid off and we didn't earn any money. They was like shitting it.
And in the end, they wouldn't let us in.
In the end, we used to go down that much to pester them. They wouldn't let us into the land registry because they knew that they was in trouble. This is the land registry. Yeah. So literally the whole system. So basically,
It's corrupt as fuck.
the
Yeah.
TSB was involved, Cheltenham and Gloucester was involved, Barclays was involved, and we couldn't understand, right, how.
And the insurance company, who were they?
Yeah,
Yeah.
legal and general, all your insurances, it was all off the books, the whole thing. So we couldn't understand because you started a Barclays account and these your standing orders were still going out. And we're like, well, how can it? It's impossible. But then when we started looking through statements, I think it was 2 minutes past 1 o'clock. There was an ATM where we used to live.
In a very busy place.
In a very busy place. And then it was
the same amount of money
every day.
every single day at exactly the same time, 2 minutes past 1 lunchtime.
And I'm like, how the hell do you get there that time, every time, on the dot? So we went, it's impossible. So we started adding up the ATM numbers that was coming out of the account. And when you added up the ATM amount of figures, it worked out to all
My
of her
mortgage.
standing orders that she
My
got coming
mortgage.
out of the bank.
So Barclays were actually siphoning it out of my bank account as cash,
As
making
cash.
it look like cash payments.
Yeah.
Oh my
So of course,
God.
yeah. So
That's insane.
yeah, this is gospel. This is what we went. But when this first started, when we first conducted, we went to the police and went, "This is fraud, big time." So then, anyway,
They were making out I didn't have a case, blah, blah, blah. But then they were ringing me on my lunch break and asking me to go to a secure landline so they could ask me a few questions, even though the case was closed because there is no case. So I was having to go back to work and book a meeting room and then ring them up with a phone number so that they could then secure the landline, so then they could ring me up and ask me questions.
I mean, that's quite serious when they've got a secure landline to lock it so no one else can listen.
Yeah.
Yeah. You don't have that unless like you're in the military. I know. I used to call it military
It
base.
had to be secure landline so they could lock
It's a
the
government
landline.
thing.
Is a private. Yeah, big time. So anyway, we the police went, no, there's no case to answer. But then they rang him back and then asking more questions, and we're like, how can there be no case to answer? Are you kidding me?
I was literally at that point. I was literally crying on the phone at them. How can you leave me in the lurch when you're constantly asking me questions, but there is no case? Do you know what I mean?
So
Yeah.
It was horrific at the time.
Yeah. I mean, this is what 2005. This was, if that helps.
2004,
2004, 2005, when this was really going on. So anyway, the all the paperwork we had, but the real weird thing about it was, the more we got involved, because we got the bit between the teeth, yeah, the less scared we felt. We never felt threatened, even though we was taking on some big boys.
No, because Juicy used to work away in the week and leave me in that house on my own all week.
A week.
And obviously everybody knew where we lived because I was the mortgage and everything. And
yeah,
I never once felt like somebody was going to come knock on the door and duff me over or anything. Catherine's here.
Even though we were, well, we found out who it was in the end, but like
right. Let's see if we can. Hello, Catherine.
So happy we're live this time. And it worked.
Yeah.
Oh, so we're still live.
Hi.
Apparently, yeah.
Don't know how long I'm talking about this, mind you.
Yeah, that's very true.
I thought in the end, I thought, fuck it. People need to know why we are who we are, and
why we keep our faces out of it all,
and what we actually physically toe to toe went through.
Yeah.
And there's only and the annoying thing is, yeah, wherever we turned, there was
no help.
There was no one to help you.
Yeah. No one, not one. We spent a fortune sending packs of evidence to you name it, anybody we could think of, including the Geneva Convention.
Yeah, a lot.
We sent packs out to all over the country, all over Europe.
Yeah, we sent it out.
You name it, we sent the evidence to them to see who would come and help us.
All the TV programs, Channel 4, Channel 5, we did all of those, and they even said.
Even Richard and Judy.
Yeah, we
got a pack.
Yeah, they just wrote, but basically they couldn't touch it because they're sponsored by them.
Yeah, a friend of ours, her brother was a reporter for one of the big newspapers, and he said they'll never touch it because they're sponsored by them.
Sponsored by them.
Yeah.
So we couldn't even get a word out that way.
And the thing was, I mean, we were back a bit. The thing when it come to the day of taking the house.
Hi, Catherine. By the way, hi.
Hi.
All right.
Hello.
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 Very dark. I don't mean like.
Very dark. And you're muted. Is that all right?
Yeah. Oh. Yeah. Well,
it's hard to click or zoom out when you first get on it. There's a button you hit. It says something. It says Wi-Fi or cellular, and then there's another one below it. Don't hit that one. Hit the Wi-Fi or cellular. Then go over, and then you hit your video, and you'll be here.
Right. So there was everybody.
I am.
Hello.
Yeah, cool, wicked. That's all right.
Hello.
And just booming a little bit forward on the scam. The day that we were going to have to let the house go because we just took it to the absolute maximum. This is probably about a year and a half, 2 years later, and we went to the court, and basically We had all the paperwork. We had everything to prove. Blah, blah.
I've been going into court every day for the previous week, handing in more and more evidence so that the judge could read
Banging in with
it all.
it.
So the judge could read it all before our court case took place.
We were supposed to go into court about 10:30. Anyway,
The paperwork said 10:30 in courtroom A or 1 or whatever it was. And we got there about 9:15.
ready for them.
And the chap who's supposedly the opposition said, "Do you want to go into a private meeting?"
Well,
and
we seen him
no.
run in, didn't we?
We said no. Let's go into court.
Yeah, we seen him run in because it's like a balcony, and we was up like that, and then this big lanky twat come running in like that.
He just looked like a student, to be honest.
Yeah, and he had like this law
massive book
law book about.
And it got big letters on the front saying law. So it was like, oh my God, you should have read that way before you turned up to see us.
Yeah, because we had literally piles of evidence. We even used to write to them and
So
go,
they sent some little nobody the first time, didn't they? When you had all that evidence that was saying.
this is really weird because we seen this guy running. He had this book, and I went, and we heard him say, "I'm from Dryden Solicitors." I thought, "You lying shitbag." Yeah, I thought that's a lie straight away. So I was on it
because they don't exist.
They don't even exist. So anyway, next thing you know, he comes up to us. "Do you want to go into the room?" Went, "No,
we're going to court.
We're going to court right now, thanks, mate." This is at 9:45 now. We was in a courtroom at 9:45.
They ushered us into a completely different courtroom. And they started court proceedings at 9:45, which is out of court's time because it doesn't open until 10 o'clock.
It's 10 till 4 on a court. Yeah. So basically, it's just a normal building in between outside, sort of like a court licensing hours, which is 10 till 4. So this
and the judge and this student-looking guy said a few words, and then all of a sudden, the judge was running out the room, and I was like, "Oh, what did you call it?
You call him an ignorant
twat.
Oh,
where are you off to, you ignorant twat?" Because I hadn't finished like saying the thing.
So he goes, "Contempt of court. I bang you up." He says, "Well, you can't bang anybody up at 9:45, mate." I says, "Because the court ain't even open." I says, and we got paperwork here to prove he don't exist. He's not from Dryden's, and we don't owe him any money.
Yeah, because Halifax don't know who I am.
Don't know who. So how can he be working for Halifax? Yeah, repossessing house with Dryden Solicitors. So anyway, all of a sudden he runs out.
Then the judge must have rang for security to come and get us.
Yeah.
But this is bearing in mind, I've spent every single evening that week taking in more and more paperwork, and I've got talking to security and got friendly with them.
Best mates.
They come running in and went, "How come he's called security on you?" And I was like, "I haven't got a clue, mate." He just went running out. The judge just went running out the courtroom.
And then the woman on the tippy tappy, she sat there.
The tippy tappy.
So she's sitting there on the tippy tappy like that, weren't she? That was just aiming her.
Yeah, she was literally tapping.
He ran off. She called him an ignorant twat. He threatened to bang us up. He said, "You can't bang anybody for 9:45, mate. You got no fucking hope." Anyway, he ran away. Right. So then she's on a tippy tappy. So we went up to her and go, "Is he always like this, or is he having a bad day?" She was like, "I can't say nothing." And then she ran away.
Yeah.
Then the security going, "What are you two doing?" We went, "We don't know. It's not even 10 o'clock yet." And they're like, "Yeah, we know. What's going on?" We went, So then we got outside the court, inside the court, and
in the reception area.
This big lanky twat come up to us, and he says, "Anyway, look, I've got his paper." He says, "I can't look at your paperwork." He says, "Put it away. I can't look at it. It doesn't make any difference. I can't look at it. I can't anything." He says, he says, "Just go home, put it down to bad experience." Yeah.
No, the cop said that, didn't he?
No, no. He said that as well. He says, "Just go home and put it down to bad experience, blah, blah, blah." And I'm like, "What?" Yeah. So as we walked out from the courts, of course, we had all the paperwork to prove absolutely everything that had been going on.
Everything, the whole lot.
We was being followed probably by about 10 or 15 undercover security or whatever.
They weren't very undercover.
They
stood out like a sore thumb.
They looked like the FBI in the 70s. There's no word of a lie. It was like ridiculous, wasn't it?
It was like some film, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. And they surrounded us and they followed us everywhere we went. And we were like, And I went,
Yeah, proper put the shits up.
I went, fucking hell. I said, we've actually crossed the line now. I says, because like we've gone through all the justice system, and now who's here to protect us now? I said, we're in like shitsville now, because like
we can now prove that the whole justice system is completely and utterly corrupt,
blah blah blah, and everything else. And the police don't want to know. We've got nobody to protect us. I don't think we've got to sort of back away from this, and we've got to sort of fling it. So I said, Steve and I, let's go down the cop shop. So we went down the police station that knew us because we used to give them all the evidence. Yeah. So we went down there, and he goes, and it's really weird. The main sergeant was on the front desk, which is like a bit weird. And I told him what happened, and he went, "Don't worry about it." He says, "Just go home, and I guarantee you, no one will even touch your car. And put it down to bad experience.
Move on with your life.
Move on with your life." Yeah. And I'm like, we came out there and was like,
this is well.
This is well fucked up. It's like,
So you know who you. This led you to realize who you were, didn't it?
That's what I think it is. I think that they thought we was undercover, unpicking all of this. It's like undercover.
Yeah, because even our sister at one point asked if you were in a cult.
Yeah, he asked me if I was a part of some sort of like
cult
or something, because
he got a surface t-shirt on with a sign on the front. He was asking him if he was in a cult.
Oh, what? And
Yeah.
So anyway, we
what was it? What t-shirt was it?
It was a skateboarding top with Rusty on it. Funny enough, that's what I called it off. But there you go. But strange. So anyway, we went home and we thought we got to back away from this. I says, we got to get out and we've got to move on. I says, because.
But then it was like, who do we give the deeds to? Who do we give the front door keys to? Because we could prove Halifax don't know who I am.
We had the deeds and everything else. So
I took the deeds and my front door keys down to the courthouse, and I handed it to the security guards, and I said, I don't know what to do with these because somebody's took my house off me, and we can prove that Halifax don't know who I am.
And I've got my deeds.
I'll leave them with you, and you can give them to the judge.
I mean, how weird is that?
Yeah.
That's really
so
weird.
That's weird.
Yeah, and then
it didn't even stop there.
No.
They tried nicking all the equity.
Well, by this time, we wanted to know what the house was going to be sold for. Yeah, because you bought it, and it's probably worth 50,000.
I knew there was some equity in it.
The house is probably
make something.
going to be thingy. So we wanted to know where we're going to get the equity back from, because obviously that's legally yours, no matter what. So it all then starts again, because the fact of we now want the equity from the house. Okay, you've repossessed it, you've took the costings from it, yeah.
I had to ring up Halifax estate agents and pretend I was interested in buying the house as soon as the sold sign come up, and I managed to get out of the girl how much it had been sold for.
Yeah.
So I knew how much equity I was owed.
100,000 it sold for.
And I only owed them 40 odd something, didn't I?
Yeah. So anyway, we kept the paperwork and we thought, right, now we're going to have to go back into court again on a house that you didn't own, blah, 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 blah. And they're now trying to bugger off with 40 or 50,000 quid's worth of equity.
Wow.
Yeah. And this is why they do it, because the house is worth a lot more. They want the money back from the thingy, and then they're going to keep the 50,000 equity and bugger off with all that as well.
There's the same system in America, and it's they have a thing. It's called fixed interest rate. You're good if you have that one, but if it's not fixed, that's how they keep screwing you over.
It's all corrupt.
Yeah.
I think all corrupt.
Yeah.
All of it.
And it's not just fair.
That's why I can't stand corporate.
Yeah.
I can't stand them.
The thing is now, you can't work for anybody, and I can't work for anybody.
No, because everywhere I go to try and get a job, my name's blacklisted under my thingy number, isn't it?
National insurance number.
The national insurance number. They all know who I am.
So,
it don't matter what job I try and apply for, one that I'm qualified for or one that I'm underqualified for, I never get the job.
Never get it.
And it's been like that since 2005.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
This is your job.
Oh, hell.
Yeah. Yeah, big time.
But that's exactly the same as that Gregory Hallett. He said his name had been blacklisted as well.
Yeah, he struggles.
Yeah.
He said the same thing, didn't he?
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah.
a great
So
big web, isn't it?
so we backed away from it, but then yeah.
Oh yeah.
And then we tried.
I can't stand any corporate.
So
I don't trust none of them.
Legally, what they have to do is when you sell a house, the land registry has to be registered within, I think, within a month. Legally, it has to be registered.
Name has to change over
within 4 weeks. A whole year it took before they actually changed the name over and put how much the house was sold for. Yeah.
And then randomly, our solicitor rang us up and said, "Oh, there's a check turned up on my desk for you guys."
Because we had a court date set to take them to court to get money back. Yeah. Now we're in the right now because of the fact of they're saying they was in the wrong, but now we're taking them to court because we're in the right for our equity of the actual sale of the house and the money that's owed to us. Yeah.
And they think if they keep making it where you can't get a job, then you're going to give up.
Yeah.
That's what they're doing.
That's what they tried to do.
Yeah.
That's what they tried to do. But we did all our own legal paperwork, or we did everything ourselves. You know what I mean? We
every time we had a court appearance,
yeah,
our solicitor was busy
that day. Can't make it. I can't make
I'm
it.
in London.
I'm in London. I can't make, even though he was booked. So that day that we was in court and we had that massive argument at court two, that was the day our solicitor backed away from us and went, "Oh, I'm ever so sorry, I've double booked. I can't do that." And that's when we had to stand and do it ourselves in court.
Well, we're survivors. That's for darn sure.
Yeah.
Yes, it's all on purpose.
It's on purpose, yeah. Yeah.
The whole lot.
The whole lot. So when it comes to corruption and everything else, yeah.
We don't trust nobody.
Oh my God. It's just like when you think, so the TSB was involved, Cheltenham and Gloucester was involved, the Halifax is the hub, that's the mothership of the whole thing. Barclays, Legal in General, all of them.
The Land Registry, the Law Society, we even got in contact with the Law Society.
Yeah, Law Society.
They're corrupt as well.
Yeah.
At one point, they all had the same signature.
Yeah.
The whole lot, the Financial Ombudsman, the Law Society, and our solicitor all had the same signature.
It was like an M, which is a bit weird, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like a striggly M. And
you can actually line all the paperwork up and it all had the same signature on it.
Well, the same signature on it.
Can I throw this weird thing out here? Could they be clones?
What was that, sorry?
I didn't quite catch that.
I said, can I throw this weird thing out there? Could these be clones that are taking your identity?
No. It's just one big massive money scam because they're taking the cash out, see, put it in the back pocket, and then you can look into it. Actually, anybody can look into it. There was a massive after all this had got, while this was all going on. Obviously, we used to give all the information out. There was a massive robbery in an overnight safe.
I think it was in Kent.
In Kent, and 55. Was it £1 million in used notes from all over the country? It was
a rough estimate, wasn't it? Because there was no actual paperwork how much money was in this holding station.
Which is like that don't happen anyway.
That's fucking weird. And it all got robbed by people dressed as coppers in with police cars and all sorts.
Police cars and everything else.
And then there was absolutely no CCTV evidence anywhere where these massive lorries and cop cars actually managed to.
Well, you have cameras everywhere nowadays. There's no evidence. None whatsoever, and there's cameras everywhere.
Yeah.
Well, the amount of physical cash that was actually stolen, they needed big lorries to steal it, didn't they?
Yeah, you had it on big wheelie things, pushing them out, like bread being delivered, wheeling the money out. But apparently it was all you. They didn't know how much was in there. Approximately between 52 and 55 million pound, which is like Abracadabra sort of like thingies, the figures as well, isn't it? You know what I mean? It's weird. And then they got some of it back, but I think even to this day, no one's actually been tried for it.
They tried doing the local criminal who lived locally. They tried sticking it all on him, but he was actually out of the country when the robbery took place.
He was on holiday.
Isn't that funny? He just happened to be out of country.
Yeah, and then there was another trial for it, and apparently the jury got corrupted and it all got thrown out of court. So it's like,
But that one was only like a woman that had got a bag of this money or whatever.
Yeah.
But that fell through as well.
But it was all used money from all over the country, and I thought that absolutely fucking stinks because because of the fact of they was taking out on ATM money out of Barclays Bank.
Yeah, they were taking out as physical
like
cash.
a repeat of the.
They must have needed to store it somewhere.
I mean, even when you shut your account down and didn't use it anymore or anything else, sometimes there's £5,000 and £10,000 going through on her bank statements.
Yeah. Oh, and after it, obviously we had the house took off us and blah blah blah. I never actually got blacklisted, did I?
No, never got blacklisted. No, because nothing ever happened.
Because I then moved my bank account to NatWest, and they were offering me credit cards and all sorts. And at that point, I didn't even have a job.
Yeah, and they went, well, I can't have one because I'm blacklisted. We went, where?
No, you're not.
Where? Well, no, you're not. Come in and we'll sort one out for you.
And you get blacklisted if you have your mortgage, if you have your house took off.
About 5 years, I think, if I remember. Yeah, but like, so basically.
Yeah, so then our solicitor got a random check turn up on his desk.
Yeah.
From driving solicitors that we know for a fact don't exist. And it wasn't even a Halifax check; it was a Barclays Bank check.
Barclays Bank check.
Oh my God!
And there was one piece of paper with a few figures on it.
No headed paper.
Yeah, it was a white piece of paper with a few figures on it showing if incomings and outgoings and what have you. And when I added this up on my calculator, it didn't even add up correctly.
£10 out.
It was £10 out. I was like, what the fuck?
So
yeah, so it's all cool.
But then we found out that the Barclays used to I think they're from South Africa originally, aren't they?
Don't know.
And they got boosted out by because of the whole of apartheid.
All the apartheid, something to do with apartheid, they got booted out, and but
weren't allowed to trade
there. But I think originally they come from South Africa, which is kind of interesting, isn't it? So we did get the money in. Well, we got something.
Yeah, so ever since then, we've not trusted any corporate whatsoever.
No.
Don't trust none of them.
I mean,
they're all corrupt as fuck.
Absolutely.
None of them abide by any laws or anything.
No, they can do what they want.
We even complained about that court hearing, and we put it in writing to Westminster. Because to complain about a judge, you have to go to Westminster
7, I think it was.
Yeah, Westminster 7. And found them to be fucking corrupt.
We asked them for the tape from the hearing, because every hearing there has to be a tape.
That's to be a recorded tape.
Has to be a recorded tape and the paperwork for it. And you are within your rights to have the tape or request the tape and all the proceedings that go with it if you want to contest the actual what happened in court.
And they refused to give it to us.
They refused to give it to us. So we wrote them a snotty letter calling them
We did.
Saying, well, yours is as bad as the rest of them. And then basically, so that went right, we went right to the top, Westminster 7, to the top guy, asking him for the information that we're entitled to. And he told they refused to give it to us.
Obviously, because it was out of court's time and there was no fucking paperwork.
And there was no case.
Then it got even more fucked up. Yeah. Because after we moved out of the property, we had quite a lot of friends who lived near that property who used to keep an eye on it for us. And people, when we moved out, 2 people moved into that property who looked just like us.
Yeah.
And they put blinds in the kitchen to make it look like we were still living there. And they put cactuses in the windows, just like I used to have cactuses in the windows. And they had a car just like us, didn't they? Yeah. Because we had mates go around, knock on the door, and forget that we'd moved.
Yeah.
And
so how fucked up was that?
And then
so weird.
Yeah. And then some friends of ours, 2 of them were like little buggers, bless them. They kept watching it because they knew what we was going through. And there was a window open one night, so they went into the actual property to see what was going on.
They actually got into it.
And it was empty, exactly how we left it.
Oh, wow.
And this is now going probably 2 or 3 years after we left.
Yeah.
So, and then we also found out that when the house was sold, it was done by brown envelope, you know, like they do in Scotland when people seal bids, Scottish style.
No, I don't know.
In Scotland, they've got a different way of selling the house. So there's a date when you've got to put your sealed bid in on a certain day if you want to buy a house, and then obviously the one with the highest bid gets the house. It's the way they sell houses in Scotland.
That's why I had to pretend that I was
Scottish
to buy it, because that was the only way to find out what the property was actually sold for.
Yeah, and she said it was sold for, I think it was about 104,000 on a sealed bid. Well, that is Scottish law. It isn't English law. So so when we come down to where we are now with what's going on, I'm not surprised.
Yeah.
Because we was dealing with this. It was just me and you, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It was only me and you.
Yeah, there was nobody. There was literally nobody would help us. Nobody.
And
we could prove a lot. I mean, we even had like an idiot's guide with a video talking through it.
Yeah.
Putting pointers on every single document, highlighting every single bit. How a bank statements change from one thing to another thing, and the whole lot.
Yeah.
We did it idiot's fashion so that nobody could get out of, I don't understand it.
It's quite easy how they did it as well. Once you actually got your head around it, all they do is they come to you. They say we'll sort with all your legal paper out. So they do that. They go to who you've got your mortgage with. They make it look like you've come into money. They pay your mortgage off, and then you receive dodgy paperwork from a dodgy PO box underneath the Halifax, because the board of directors knew about it. And then basically they send you all the paperwork through. Yeah. The bank that you're with, which was Barclays, then switch the account, and then they draw it out on an ATM and put it in the back pocket.
Yeah, it's
cheeky bastards.
Yeah. So then, when obviously you want to try and reset up your direct debit,
I can remember
you've got no hope, because they don't even know who you are. You don't exist.
And I can remember the police. One of the specific questions they asked me on that secured landline was, "What does it look like on your bank statement when your mortgage comes out?" And I said, "Well, it varies from month to month. Sometimes it says Intelligent Finance. Sometimes it just says IF. Sometimes it says Halifax Trading as Intelligent Finance. It changes every single month."
Yeah. And when you try to put the actual your all mortgage numbers are the same. I forget how much. Is it 16 numbers in it? I can't remember.
Something like 16 numbers.
It's got something like 16. This had like, you couldn't even fit it. If
there was too many numbers, and there was letters in it as well.
Yeah.
And it was just physically impossible. Because
we got their paperwork, and then you tried to put your account number into their paperwork,
and it wouldn't.
You couldn't fit it. You couldn't fit it in anywhere.
Yeah, because we went into a Halifax branch, didn't we? And that was at that point that all of a sudden every single Halifax branch had all the leaflets were out, weren't they?
I'll tell you how they do it. They put a few, like Facebook, when they want to make sure that you're a proper human being, and they put a code in of X amount of money into your bank account.
eBay.
eBay.
Yeah.
But it's the same sort of thing.
Yeah.
They did the same thing. They opened up 2 separate accounts, and they put like a code in and another code, and then 2 codes then come together, and then that makes their dodgy code. And then from there, they're just siphoning the money out at 2 minutes past 1 every day, until they got the whole figure out. So you're not special. So it'd be interesting to know, is there anybody else
out there
has gone through the same as what we went through? They probably didn't even know they did.
Yeah.
Because the fact of
I bought a house. We bought a house where we used to live at, and it was a very shady deal. They made us go to a certain mortgage. We were happy because we didn't have to pay as much as where we were looking at, and it was a bigger house. We needed it for our kids. And then they show up and leave it, just this paper in the door, like just this little tiny thing. We're wondering where you are, because we hadn't paid on the land payment. We figured we were screwed, not the land payment, the house payment. We hadn't afforded it, because we had this, like, it was either the people that was the car trying to get us money out of us, or the house, which we knew we had to pay the payment. It's just like it'd always be like, oh, son of a bitch, we're laid off again. How'd that happen? You know? And then all of a sudden everything's behind again. Every time we get somewhere. Well, here when I went to go do my bankruptcy, when we went to do our bankruptcy, it looked like we didn't even own the house. However, the city of Youngstown never contacted me, and they tore my house down. But then they can contact me to tell me now that it costs apparently $300 every summer to cut the grass. I said, well, I would like to get paid that much to cut the grass. But yeah, so after I went bankrupt, now there's judgments in there. It's like you never get out. It's a freaking scam. The whole thing that electric companies, same thing. Our stimulus, the so-called stimulus, my bill was paid in full, $0, and then they said I had a late fee, so it was $2,000. Took all of our stimulus, and that happened, and it kept happening. You know, it's like it's constantly. It's like I can't get out of it.
Does sound familiar? Yeah, because this hasn't just been set up. We caught them on the hop, yeah. So we caught them out basically, and then we just kept on going at them and going at them and going at them, and then obviously we was getting deeper and deeper in it, and we just kept on going and going, didn't we? And I've got a feeling that they didn't know who we were, because
even our solicitor asking you if you're in a court,
it's
like
And I used to do all the paperwork for the solicitor, and then he used to just sign it off and send it, basically, put his stamp on it.
He never did nothing.
He never did. He did nothing because I know it wouldn't be done properly.
Yeah, he thought you were in a court, and he kept calling me Erin Brockovich.
Yeah.
What?
He thought Juicy was in a court, and he kept calling me Erin Brockovich.
Well, because you had so much information, that's what I was thinking while you were telling the story was, damn, is she Erin Brockovich, man? She went to town.
and there must be millions of people, probably globally, in this same trap.
Yeah. There must be.
Because it's not gone away. It's that's why
still going on. Yeah.
It's still going on.
Yeah, it's all crooked.
Because in the end we had to back away because
we had to walk away. Yeah.
We had to walk away because we knew it was upsetting a lot of people.
We just bought property like after that, and we bought it for the sole purpose that if we ever need to, we know how to survive, so we will be able to survive.
Yeah.
And almost done. It'll be paid off very soon. Thank goodness. So yeah, and then we can build our house. But yeah, I'm so excited.
They could. I don't know if it's still going, the scam as it did before or anything else. And it's really weird because when we put the check into your bank account, the new bank account, into NatWest, fuck me, it went missing for a week.
Did it?
It went missing.
How do you, if a number, we had that, but that's too.
They put it in the wrong pile.
I went in there going off my nut.
So we went in there and went, are you kidding me?
What the fuck's going on?
Because it's like quite a few thousand quid. And like, we in the end, we said, let's go on holiday, didn't we? We went, let's go.
We need to get away for a week. Let's go abroad.
Which probably weren't the most...
it weren't the sensiblest move, was it?
Not really, because...
No, but I didn't... Oh, yeah, I didn't think...
We didn't really think about it at the time. Yeah, we've got two people here who've got doing what we've just done, and now we're flying in an airplane. We thought, oh my God.
Yeah, getting on the airplane and sitting on it.
And when we were on it, we're like, what are we doing?
What the fuck have we done?
Do you know what I mean?
It was so easy to just get rid of us.
It was, wasn't it? We were like, what are we doing?
And it was a brand new plane with leather seats. And we only paid for like a cheap week holiday. Do you know what I mean? It was the cheapest one we could find.
And NatWest, because they messed our check up, they had to give us a loan, free,
so that we could pay for the holiday.
So we could pay for the holiday.
Because they misplaced the check. They put it in the wrong pile.
Because they put it in the pile.
I mean, it blows your mind. They treat us like we don't know our stuff, and then you just go, well, who was in charge? That's all I want to know. Because if I can find that one person who was in charge, I'm going to smack the crap out of them. Because they're not in charge. They don't know what the hell they're doing.
But it's still going on. I mean, and it's why we thought, well, let's talk about it. Let's get it out there, and let's see if.
And this is why we don't like showing the faces or using real names or anything, because we have upset a fucking lot of people.
A lot of people.
I've had many bank accounts where they would say that we were in the hole and then we weren't, and I tried to fight them, and they're like, well, you would have to hire our accountant, which would cost you $250 an hour, and I'm like, well, then what's the point? Because by the time you're done, you're just going to steal my money back anyway. And I took a check.
Exactly. Yeah.
We pulled a check from our pension. And they acted like we stole it. I'm like, we have to be the dumbest person alive to have this size of a check and go in here and try to cash it. I mean, come on. It was just stupid. It was constantly.
And the weird thing, I mean, sorry. And the weird thing about it was, I mean, probably people in this country will remember it. The all unstable. Are we all right still?
You, it was all right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. The people in this country probably remember it. I think probably about 2005, 2006. There was all random paperwork from the TSB bank accounts turning up statements, turning up in skips all over the countryside, all over everywhere.
Bins weren't there?
That was the same time as we was on the TSB about this dodgy mortgage, and they were dumping.
I think it's Barclays, wasn't it?
No, that was TSB.
Was it?
Or was it Barclays?
It was Barclays.
No, it's Barclays. Barclays were dumping all the evidence.
Yeah, because it was on the news, wasn't it?
It's on the news.
It was on the news. It was literally like public bins stuffed full of like people's statements. And stuff.
Oh, that.
I even called our congressman to tell them. They sent me a letter because I was all mad about my electric bill, and then they sent it back and said we can't. I forget what they said, but it had nothing to do with my electric bill. They were just like, we can't help you with your loan or your whatever. It had nothing to do with what I called them about and told them what was going on. And I was just like, my mind was blown. And every time I try to stand up to these people, they come back with this stupid crap and they think I'm going to believe it. I'm like, okay, well, whatever. Go ahead.
None of them are there for you, mate. None of them.
No, none of them. I mean, we had the land registry that wouldn't even let us in by the end of it. We got barred. We got barred from the land registry. We had the ombudsman that run away, hiding and crying. We had everything else, blah blah blah. We literally wherever we turned, we got closed doors.
But at one point, one of the packs that we'd sent out randomly turned up on our back doorstep. Not even where the postbox thing is. It randomly turned up on our doorstep, and it had been opened, and there was initials across the top of it, like when you work in a big company and one piece of paper needs to go around to quite a few people, they put initials across the top so that they can sign their initials off to say that they've read it and on to the next person.
Yeah. It
was like that, but it was turned up on our back doorstep,
open, hidden behind behind some plants. So
we've got no idea what
we don't even know what happened there.
Why that came back to us.
Why it came back, and why the postman
put it on our back door.
And had it open and then put it behind some plants in our back garden because it was open. It was like a walkway through, and hid it open. Yeah, and I was like watering the plants one night. I thought, what the hell was that? And I opened it up, and it was all in there. So there was obviously still watching us even then.
Yeah,
and that was after we'd moved away.
Yeah,
and you just probably just want a peaceful life.
Sorry, you're breaking up, girl.
Oh, I'm sorry. I said you probably just want a peaceful life. You just want a peaceful life in your life, you know, like not deal with this stuff.
Oh, she's back.
Who's back?
Oh, you're breaking
up. Oh,
you're
definitely gone into garlic mode.
I'm in garlic mode.
Yeah, you're in garlic, yeah.
You've gone all AI on us.
Oh.
Well,
you know, when you tell the truth, they want to shut you up.
Do you want to hear a mini version of something similar in our?
Yeah, go on then.
15 years ago, I sold. I sold a house and then moved the money into a mortgage trust through a friend's advice. And within 18 months, and I rolled it every 6 months, it was frozen. No notice, nothing. Just this letter saying it's frozen. And I'd already asked a month before to release it. And this letter came, it's all frozen. We can't do anything about it. So long story short, I went to everyone. This is my home money. And
Yeah.
I would stay out of the market. I was just house sitting and traveling around. And now I can't get my home money back. And I went to everyone. In Oz, it's the public trustee. I researched all those people and went to them.
Yeah.
I went to the TV people, Current Affairs, the Australian one. They told me they get stories like that all the time, and it's not sensational enough. I went to a real estate guy, who's alternate and he said he sympathised, but there's nothing he can do. There was nowhere to turn. So I lost my home, and we got back in dribs and drabs. The unit price dripped down to nothing. I got back like the original deposit, which was £10,000. I managed to scrape back what my grandmother had left me, and that is my story. So I'm not
Stinks,
going there
doesn't it?
again.
It does.
It's the same stuff, isn't it?
I don't want to go into that world, that corporate world, and that led me down the rabbit hole of inquiry and then I found that these layers of corruption, and every week now, bam, 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 to the point that the truther community now is very sus, very sus.
Yeah.
The prominent ones, the ones that are always up there, and the ones talking about numbers, and the ones talking about selling gold, but you've got to join their membership. It's highly behind the curtain.
Money doesn't work. Gold doesn't work. Silver doesn't work. None of it works. It doesn't work. It will never work.
No.
I suppose it only works in their system, but
if you've got it and you're controlling it, then it works. But if you ain't, it won't, and you ain't going to get it.
There's a lot more talk now about these parallel societies, that there's going to be like 2-tier society, and it's like you step out of that 3D and you just create your own thing, but it takes enough of you to make that work, to get it and make that work, and exchange and barter, and to make that on an even keel, because the let systems and the crystals and all that's all failed in the past because it wasn't on equivalent. Everyone wanted the electrician or someone who could fix something, and and there was like thousands of masseurs, and they all wanted the electrician, so that system didn't work. It has to be like really well thought out, I reckon. But anyway, this parallel society, because we can't operate in that, and they don't want us to. They just want us gone. Like, as far as I'm concerned, we're nothing. Like, they just want to take what they can from us working tax wise and whatever, and then make us sick enough that then they can make money off that and then do away with us. So it's a very evil system.
Yeah,
I say we all get together and share what we know, like our recipes to heal ourselves, like Juicy and Lucy are doing, and anything we can, and stick it to the man. That's what I say.
I must admit, the juice is going so well.
The juice group is going amazing.
Well,
it's gone bonkers the last few weeks. It's gone absolutely bonkers.
On Gap, and there's a fair few really old-time patriot soldiers. They're all boiling it, doing this, that, and that. But I'm now in convo with them about how to do it properly, and they're really cool.
Good.
They're pretty switched on guys as well. Like they've been through, or they know it's a heap of shit. So it's really interesting because that's sort of taken off there, where they're so interested in what's going to heal them, what's going to help them. So all kudos to them too. It's interesting, the overlap from you know, I'm like from the starseed world, I suppose, if there's a label, but then we're kind of hanging around with it, like talking and convo with these patriots, you know. Yeah. But
Hello,
yeah.
Star Sister.
It's difficult to know what's going to happen.
It is.
Yeah.
It is. I mean, we go on our travels, and we sort of like get involved with different sort of like parallel universes, or what we deal with, different energies and stuff. And
Yeah.
and I says to you, I hate coming back to this one. I hate it
Prison
with
Planet.
a vengeance.
Yeah.
I hate it.
But it's not.
It
It's
is
meant to be.
terrible.
It's meant
It
to
is
be
horrible.
beautiful. It's held captive, isn't it? And we're here to help release it. It is a prison planet wrapped up in
Oh,
AI, all these people planted everywhere, and all the clones and what have you. And here we are. We put our hand up to go. Yeah, we're help free
I mean-
enough. Like, what am I doing? We're helped to get everyone free, you know. Oh,
That's what we're
We'll
doing.
make a pact the next time we don't.
Oh, no. I mean, on one of our travels, it was almost like it was almost like we were still on Earth 1. We're not actually gone past Earth 1 yet. It was like there was Earth 1, Earth 2. There's always different Earths, yeah, and the sort of like the where we are now wasn't planned for quite a few Earths in front, you know, in the future.
oh,
Yeah, right. And this parallel that was on, when we go into these parallels, it does feel real. I mean, it is fucking real, because like it really is. And it's almost like was above this Earth 1, and what it was that the corporate got involved and built all of their everything on Earth 1. Yeah.
It's like a honeypot.
It was like a honeypot. So basically what it was like enticing people down from space, that we lived in space, enticing people down, trapping them here, yeah, and then making them work, and then draining them. And then because you're not connected to
where you are,
where you've come from,
it
then it's copying you out. Basically, it's almost like it's copying you out, and it's dissolving you bit by bit.
Yeah.
You notice how weird this is?
Connection to the space where you survive, it drains you.
It drains you.
It doesn't keep
and
you.
It's copying out.
And
the people I deal with, I call them ghosts. I call them ghosties. But like they come to me for me to rewrite them into the story to move them on. Yeah, okay. And it's almost like they're almost like wafer thin. Yeah, almost like they've been. It's almost like they've been carbon copied out that many times. They're just literally a wafer thin of themselves left.
Yeah,
and it's almost like they've been kicked like you've been taken everything from you. You've been copied out as much as the thingy, and then you've got this wafer thin a version of yourself, which is just tossed away. Yeah, and then they're the guys that come and find me, and they're the guys that they come in. They use the plants in the garden and trees, so it gives them form,
a little bit of physicality,
so I can deal with these people and help them.
So we can actually, see
so I can see them
better.
And then sometimes I used to have thousands of them, like all lined up from different places that was coming to me.
Yeah, all waiting to be helped.
All waiting to be helped and to move them on.
Yeah.
But the consciousness of these guys was like talking to me, like he's talking now. Yeah. So even though and that's what I could not understand. Yeah, how something that had been copied out so many times, yeah, still had their consciousness, which was 100%. Yeah.
Yeah. And they were compass mentors as well.
Compass mentors, and they used to help us do things, and they'd be doing things outside, and they'd be doing different things. And it's the one thing that I used to think. So going back a bit, it was like the energy that when these guys come to me, I used to always say to them, pass me, if you want, pass me your energy. Yeah. So they used to push the energy through the window into the house, and I used to take their energy, and I used to snap a little bit out. And as I used to snap a little bit out, and in between my fingers, I would open it literally like that, and it's almost like an old, you know, the projector tapes with the old cine films on. Yeah.
Yeah.
And you
Projector tapes.
like a tape, like the old cine films. I'll get their energy, the energies, open them, click, and there'd be three inside there. There'd be three stages to consciousness of their consciousness, of their original consciousness of who they were.
Okay.
So then what I used to do is pass that on to the consciousness of the universe as like, do you know who this person is? And I used to pass it on.
To keep it safe.
To keep it safe. And I used to say to the consciousness of the universe, I'm going to pass you this to you. Do you know this person? And
sometimes the consciousness would have a bit of that person already.
Or they have a bit of that person
so
already.
They would be able to like collect it together. So when they found other bits of the energies of these people, they could rebuild them to then become, then it will become a physical consciousness within the universe by taking this bit of consciousness and storing it in there. And I used to say to the energies, look, pass me energy. Yeah, I'll do that. I'll pass the consciousness on. There's three points of consciousness. That's all that was left. And I used to send that off. And I used to talk to the consciousness, which was female. And it had to do with Earth as well, wasn't it? Well, consciousness. Yeah. And I used to pass that on and go, can you keep hold of that? And do you know that person? And then it'll go quiet. I go, you know that person? And they go, I know that person. Well, I know who they are and where they come from. And a lot of it was Earth One. A lot of the fuck ups and a lot of the things was all to do with Earth One, where people got blasted apart, siphoned out. So what was happening was, and it was to do with the Martians. The Martians were the ones doing it, yeah. And what they was doing was Earth One. Bear in mind, this is a story that we've been on, yeah. Earth One was being siphoned. So basically what it was, there was copying out from Earth One and copying out. And then what there was doing, making lots of copies of Earth One, and then there's consuming that and using that energy to consume. And then that made the physical that lived on Earth One wafer thin, because there's been copied out all the time by them growing small universes and consuming it.
Yep.
Yeah. So it was pretty horrific. So I don't know if that makes sense to anybody, but it's just a story thingy. So as in Earth One, now we've all retook control of Abracadabra. Yeah. Now Abracadabra, I've said before, that is it's a code for making a water planet. Yeah, I've said that before. Okay. It's a code for making a water planet, but because these water planets are copied over the top of each other so many times, it become a water universe, become like an aqua universe. So what they was doing was they'd actually got to the Abracadabra, and they were siphoning the energy out from it, out the code from Earth One, taking it out from that first water planet. But the water planet, as far as I'm concerned, means aqua. So the planet itself is solid, but the air around it is aqua. It's water.
Yeah.
It's not just air. It's got water.
It's not like we're all swimming around. Yeah. It's a case of it's the air around us that is aqua. And that's why I think this water planet thing comes from, because on one of the journeys, the energy in my hand was all little bubbles. So I was sitting there, and I had all bubbles in my hands, almost like loads of fairy liquid, and basically it all fitted together, and it made aqua. It made the aqua air, and I passed it on, didn't I? I was like gobsmacked. And even the energies I worked with were like, whoa. Even we didn't see that coming. Because they're just as shocked what happens on the travels as what we are.
Yeah.
But it's the consciousness of the universe is that we deal with. Yeah. We deal with.
Yeah, work with.
And it's one of our superpowers of who we are. We can walk on many parallels at the same time. It's almost like we've got special boots on, so we'll be walking on different parallels all at the same time.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And that's why. Yeah, and this one we always. I hate coming back to it. I fucking hate it, but like we have to come back. Maybe to say what the adventures have been on and what we've seen.
Yeah.
We decided to do this. We all know we did. We made a conscious effort to do this. That's why we're all here.
Yeah.
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 And I heard from it that we've been like, this is like the 5th or 6th time that we're back at this point again. Like, are we going to do something different, or are we going to recycle again? Like, you know, as a planetary species, are we going to move out of this?
But I do believe this is it finally, because like today, I could feel it in the air. The energy is here. It's finally, things are going to come to a head.
I felt it today. Yeah. I felt it too today. About the buzzing.
Hi, Judy.
Hi.
Yeah, it feels great. It really does. It's amazing.
Yes.
Strong energy.
There is.
That Earth one, and then what we got shown about how they came in and then took control of Earth one and then started doing all of this right from the word go. It was like, I was like, have we not passed Earth one?
Yeah.
Because these people, it was almost like we got sent there because it was off balance.
It was exactly the same setup. It was all the same.
Yeah.
The same governments.
Same governments.
The same scams and the same
Oh,
siphoning money,
yeah.
siphoning energy.
And we got sent there because it was off balance. Yeah. So it was off. It wasn't
running right.
It wasn't running right.
Yeah, there was a clunk.
There was a clunk, and there was a noise, and it was off balance. And when we was actually sort of like looking down upon it, sort of like out at it, we was like, "What the fuck? It's almost like where have all these buildings come from, and who's been building all this?"
And it was all cars and sirens and noise and people and concrete everywhere, and
I was like, I was reporting back to the entities that we work with, and went, "What the fuck's all this?" And they went, "What do you mean?" I went, "Listen. Everything is all thingy," and that's why it was off balance, because they built everything all on one side. And all the thingy, and it had all been thingy because.
And the earth weren't running right because it was literally off balance, because there was one side heavier than the other.
Heavier than the other with all the building and what they've been doing and everything else to it, and it was off balance. So we was like, at that particular time, I went, "I've had enough of this. Let's flick the switch." So we did flick the switch.
Yeah.
There was a switch, and
switch it off.
I switched it off. Now. I don't know what that means in our time, but literally there's almost a switch, and I could flick the switch, and it blew apart. It actually went boof, and we're like, "Shit! Now what we're going to do?" Because it all went everywhere, and it was like not us, but all them, all over the place, and we're like, "Ooh." But these are just the journeys we go on, and when we're on these journeys, it really is real. I mean, when we have these people at the door, you know, coming looking for help. I mean, on one of them when we was doing the weavers, about the weavers and stuff.
Yeah.
And then because apparently I did hear other people are involved in building universes. Yeah. So when we go into these things, we've put stars in, haven't we? And built domes. One of them was this dome, and this energy got me down the back of the neck, and then took me outside and goes, "You got to go outside." So I went outside, and I looked up, and there's like a clear dome above where we lived, and it was full of stars. I mean, absolutely crammed, but they weren't that high. And then above us, there's, I call them the energy guys, and they work on like energy sledge. They got like energy sledges, and they was working above us, and they looked sort of like an electric Meccano. That's what they look like. Everything all fits together, and it looks like Meccano, but it's like an electrical Meccano. Yeah, and they was working above us, and it was almost like there was hanging stars above us. And as it was dropping down to me, you could hear them going fizzing. And when I looked up, it was almost like a toilet roll bit of paper with the energy coming all the way down to where I was standing. So I had to lock it all down. And then once that all got done, I got past this energy, but it almost looked, it was about 18 inches thick and probably about 6 or 8 foot wide. And it looks like a big roll of fiberglass that you've just rolled out. Yeah. And I was having to literally push it across. And as I'm pushing it, it's going above all the plants, the trees, the houses, pushing it into the edge of the dome and then load it all in solid and locked it all in. And then these ramps come down, almost like a ram. As it come down, old Rusty Rubag, it hit him on the ass. Now, he ran and went straight into the house. So he's seen it because it hit him on the ass. So he like bombs in the house, he's looking behind him. He runs into the house. I thought, well, you know, if he can see it, yeah, and feel it, this is really happening. and then all of a sudden, it got the dome and pumped it like, and it just pumped into infinity. So you didn't see it. And I watched all the stars divide up into separate stars as it went out. And I was like, well, another one I've built and lost. And it just went out like that. But even Rusty Roo, because this ram come down and it just hit him on the ass and he went boo like that. Because the energy guys, when I used to work with the energy guys, I've not seen them for a while. They'd put their hands through the windows and then they'd be rubbing on his head and playing with him. And all his fur be doing that and he'd be like that. I thought, yeah, well, you're involved more than what I think. I mean, don't think your dog or animals are thinking, because like he'd be sitting there with his, like, I'm not involved, but with like bubbles, like orbs, energy bubbles coming out of his nose, his feet, his bloody bumhole, everywhere. And I'm like, oh yeah, and you're not involved. And then another night, I was sitting in the lounge. He's in with us. Then I seen an energy one of him come outside, over the fence, through the patio window, and into the house, and then joined back with him. And I went, "Where have you been?" And he's like looking at me like that. I went, "I just seen you jump over." And apparently, he's obsessed with these flowers. Yeah. Now these flowers are, if anybody knows out there, you think it's blue and orange flowers. And apparently it was the first ever flower that was put on planet Earth when it was on its test run a very long time ago. Yeah.
Orange and blue.
Orange and blue. Yeah. So anybody out there?
And he was obsessed with them.
Obsessed with them. To the point of, yeah.
He nicked the first ever
one out of the box.
To keep. Because the first original Earths and everything was almost like a magic kit. Yeah. So it's like it was an energy and magic. Now this goes back a long way. Energies years ago were pinched and stolen. Yeah. So sold in boxes. So what they would do is, for an Earth, yeah, they would look for energies that was a mothering energy, a nurturing energy, and everything else. So then what they would do, they'd capture these energies, and then within inside the energy, you've got your 3 stages of consciousness. This is where I found it. And then what they'd do is they'd alter their consciousness. So if you move from your position, you're going to affect this, and this, and this. You're going to kill something.
Or you're going to kill something.
Or ruin the whole lot, or there are dire consequences, so you cannot move.
So all these original energy Earths, yeah,
they were tricked into.
There was tricked and trapped, and all these little energies, which was I call them the weavers, but there was an energy, yeah, beautiful things, nurturing, funny as you like, yeah. And what were they doing? There was trapped, and then they had their switch in their sort of DNA switched. So each part of that energy did a certain thing. So that
had a certain task.
That task that it had to stay in that position. That one stays in that position. That one stays in there. Then all of that then creates a universe and everything in it, and there's all trapped. And I've dealt with loads of them energies that come to me to find me, yeah, and I've been trying to work out how to re-switch it to release them from this confines that they're still all in. So then I'll take their energy, open it, and then pass it to the consciousness of the universe to keep it safe. To keep it safe. Because a lot of the universes, it was created out of these energies, and then there's almost like a switch within the story, which then the weird thing about it is it's space. It's the space around the outside of the universe that creates the universe on the inside of it. Yeah.
Okay.
So it's almost like
plug. It's like you have to plug something electric into the electric.
Yeah.
Into the plug socket to make it work, isn't it?
Yeah. So
it's a bit like that.
Yeah.
If you can, it's the best way. If you can imagine space as a soft coal. Yeah.
Okay.
Where like that stuff you put plants in.
Oh yeah, yeah.
That green stuff you put plants in. Yeah.
Oh, God, what do they call it?
Yeah. And it's for doing flower arranging and stuff.
Called Oasis, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oasis.
If you can imagine it, the original a long time ago, all of space was made out of that, which was made out of the weavers. Yeah.
Okay.
And then what I can work out, or what I can remember, is you'd hollow out your hole for the size of the universe you want using your Abracadabra, actually different codes. So you can have a universe the size of a 12, which is kind of small, but it gives you the effect that it's the full size of a 72.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So basically, you could be in the size of a pea, yeah, like we are now, but it is the size of the whole universe in it. Yeah. Is the way it codes it. And then this here, yeah, codes the actual space around the hole.
Okay.
Yeah. So that sits inside the hole that's been created. And then that codes the space on the outside to then give you what you want on the inside.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because
it makes it effective, doesn't it?
Yeah, because
it kind of gives it permission to.
Yeah, because space works on a real weird situation, is because it works on relativity and everything else. Yeah. So if you make a hole in space, that space has got to be filled immediately with something to balance it. Otherwise, it's unstable. Otherwise, it unstables the rest of space. Yeah. So by making that sphere and then putting the codes in of what you want and why, yeah, it then creates it on the inside.
It accepts it and creates it, so that there's no hole there anymore.
Yeah, it fills the hole.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Now this is where the manifesting might come from. Yeah, because the fact of you're manifesting something because it's relativity. It doesn't matter if what you're saying is correct, as long as you're more convincing than the space around you, it will accept it and create it.
Okay.
Yeah. And that's the way that it used to work. Now, using that space can also be used for copying, like a photocopier.
Okay.
Yeah. So maybe this is where you're getting the clone-y-wonies from. Yeah. Because they're using all of this to clone out, remake themselves. Yeah. On one of our last journeys, we was being chased by these idiots, or those around us,
and they got copiers everywhere.
Yeah, and I went, please tell me, yeah, we haven't got space underneath where we are. When they went to have a look, there was the original space, because we was on the top one, but it had been copied from the bottom one. We'd got rid of all the bottom ones, but the top one still had the original space, and that's what there was after. It was after the original last bit of space.
So they could carry on copying.
So carry on copying. Right. So I went, right. So on the journey we do, you open a parallel box. So basically you open a box underneath it with two parallel lines. Yeah, you open the box, open the parallel lines, and then when you push something through it, yeah, it's not relevant to and from anything anymore. Bang, it's gone, and the parallel's closed, and you get rid of it. So we took all the space out. We made sure that all the last bit of the original space was gone. Yeah, literally, you open a box that isn't relevant to and from anything around it, and then you've got two parallel lines which you open, push it in, bang. It's not relevant to and from, and it's gone. It's gone forever. Disappears.
Yep.
Yeah. So we took all the last bit of this space out that there was after this for copying, and it was like, if we can now
Copy and consume it.
copy, yeah, and they consume it as well. Yeah, and they rub it on the skin, and then once they rub it on the skin, they can put another copy of themselves over or a different one of themselves over the top of it. So you could almost see the dark, sort of like almost like coal underneath the skin, and you could also see a very shiny, goldy squirrely, which was star energy, which then they hid, and then put the next one on top and hid, the next one on top and hid, and that's how they used to do it. And we hopefully we took the last lot out.
Yeah.
So this it'd be interesting to see if that then relates into this parallel. They can't keep on copying and making things anymore because of the fact of it's gone.
Okay.
See, and this was also a problem going back a very long time ago from the first ever, which was Planet Purple, which was like an Earth-looking planet, but because of the heat, it had an overheat problem. Yeah, so because of the heat, because obviously it was spinning inside a solid, so it made friction. Yeah, so obviously that universe and that planet was spinning inside that sort of the old space as with inside that oasis. Yeah, as it's doing that, it's spinning, causing friction. Now, then, if you want to then copy that universe and put it into another universe, it would, if that one's been going for, say, 550 billion years and you open a new one up, that one starts off at 550 billion years old.
Because it's an exact copy.
It's an exact copy. It copies across. So then if something goes wrong, yeah, it all goes wrong because they're all connected.
If one blows, they all blow.
They all blow.
Yeah.
So this is why I think we're still on planet one, because it'd have to be because of the old space that was around it all. It would copy across. But also, because it's copying across, it also copies the same fucking problems from that one to this one to this one to that one to this one to this one, and it just goes on and on and on.
Yeah.
So we might be on Rebirth Earth, this, and this, but because of the old space that was around it, it copies the same problem from that one all the way through.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
It makes sense. It does.
So that's why I say, you know, we're on Earth one, because it'd have to be this Earth one or Purple or whatever.
It's an exact copy.
It's an exact copy.
Yep.
And that's been the problem. No matter how many times we have a rebirth of an Earth, it's bringing the same problems through to this one, to this one, to that one, to this one, to this one, because it's just copying it, that one, and that one has to be relevant to and from the first one, because relativity through space. You open that one up, and here you go again, on and on and on and on. And this is where this treadmill has come from. Of the cycle. But on the last one, we was on Earth one and was getting rid of the original space. So the original space dust, as we want to call it, has now gone. Yeah, and it's been replaced with an aqua space, which is bubbles of water, air. So basically, it works differently. So you've got water, air, and space, which all blend together as a whole brand new one. But it can be all individual as well, because each bubble is an individual bubble. So it's individual. So I'm hoping, because of all of that, it's going to break this cycle of the rebirth of an Earth, but the same problems, the rebirth of an Earth, but the same problems. It's because it's carbon copying from the original one, which would be Earth one, which is why I think we got taken back to Earth one, and we flicked the switch on Earth one, didn't we?
Yeah.
I'll be right back, okay?
Okay.
Well, it might not be right away, but I will be. I'm not leaving, but I'll be. I'll be here. I'm here, but I'm not. I'll be back.
You're for a wee. Good for dump.
can hear you. I can hear you in my earbuds. So go ahead.
So yeah, so and then because Earth One was put together by the Galactic Federation.
Okay.
The original Federation.
The original, yeah.
Yeah, and Planet Purple is our home, which then goes back to the original Aqua and everything else, and then the Galactic idiots wanted to build their own Earth in there for their own sort of like people. But obviously then you had all the gunships, you had this, you had that. Basically they wanted to take control and play war games in space, basically. And where we've come from was in the way. I don't know why I say it.
Yeah.
So basically this is where the Earth One came from. It's a copy of Purple Planet, but not the actual original one. Because that blew up a long time ago and was taken out. So then obviously then yeah, they can put their own rigmarole in there using space to do it and copy it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's it's difficult because when we're doing things, we
get so many different timelines all at the same time, and it's so difficult to decipher and separate them, and which one's with which, and which one is the beginning of which one, and which one's the end of which one. It takes quite a while to get your head around.
Yeah, you should like doing the beginning and the end.
It's always like being in like a spaghetti of it all, isn't it?
Yeah, it is
sometimes. Because we can be literally working on 4 or 5 different timelines all one weekend.
All at one time.
Yeah.
Yeah, all at the same time.
All right.
The,
Okay.
I might have sent you that link to Lynn Rondo. I quite like her. She is channeling, but she's now talking with like the councils of light and the universes of light and things. But she had some revelation that the Galactic Federation were actually blocking us, and she asked that they don't decide, they don't make any more laws, they don't. I think it was a couple of weeks ago.
They're actually gone, I think you'll find.
Yeah, so she had gone around them, but she realized they had been blocking her stuff and basically lying, like you couldn't even have a reading or anything because it was
Not
a bunch of lies.
Same thing. Yeah.
The corporate stuff. So
it's a honey trap. Earth One was a honey trap.
it's a honey trap, yeah. So that was a revelation. That was a shock for her too, but at least she saw beyond that. Yeah.
I think you probably find the original Galactic Federation, they're gone. They've been
taken out.
Yeah, they've been taken out. Boom, boom, boom.
Yeah. But I mean, are they, when you say that they came from Mars originally and did their stuff, or
the Martians are so fucked up.
Are they the Nephilim? Are they the Anunnaki? Or are they another bunch? Or
they're just a fucking.
Or I don't know whether I don't know if they get called by different names, but they are.
They are a fucking fucked up fucking weirdo.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, because when we're sitting there, and we have pictures on the TV, so the TV's there, and I can sit at a certain angle, and I can see energies in the TV, and it's almost
we get shown
shown stuff, but you've got to get the right angle on the TV, and you can see what's going on. Now, the original Martians, they've their timeline all links together as one. They all share the same timeline and lifeline. Yeah.
The same consciousness.
The same consciousness. So basically you've got the one sort of here, and if you break that, the five at the furthest away ain't got a clue what's going on because they share the same timeline, they share the same consciousness line. Yeah.
Okay.
And the ones
the cartoon.
They also have interchangeable heads. The heads.
It reminds me of the cartoon.
You can separate their heads from their bodies, and it doesn't make a difference.
It doesn't make a difference.
They can actually swap heads.
You can actually grow a new head and put it onto an old body.
Right.
That they are
Fucked up.
fucked up. And
Not very clever.
we have got an artist actually who's wicked. We're going to share some stuff with the thingy.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
that was-
Shelley.
She's wicked.
Yeah.
She's amazing
She's
artist.
amazing.
Yes.
Aren't they amazing?
Can I let me see if I can share?
Ooh.
I'm going to have a go at sharing Shelley's artist work. Can you guys see that?
No.
I'm telling you, I could write a children's story about it. It's amazing.
We've got Abracadabra picture.
Been getting
That's
ready for
all
this,
I
haven't
got.
they?
You know what,
Abracadabra.
I have. I've been getting ready for this. It was there earlier.
We'll share them.
I said I'll share them. I'll share them on the website and I'll share them on Facebook
Yeah.
and I'll share them
Yeah.
everywhere
Yeah.
so you can see them. Shelley's done some bugs paintings and it's quinine bugs and they are so amazing.
They are.
We're actually thinking about doing some t-shirts and selling them. They're
They're
like
awesome.
They're awesome,
they
aren't
are so brilliant. She's such a wicked
Yeah.
artist.
I've asked. I spoke to her today.
We asked her to come on tonight, but she's a bit shy. So
Never so shy.
yeah.
Because going back to when we was dealing with the mermaid side of it that got captured and what happened there, yeah, it was almost like mermaids communicate with sexual energy, but the sexual energy of the females is all on their backs. So
It comes up their spine.
So all their sexual organs and everything. It's just you take a female and invert it, and then that is what a mermaid is. Yeah. So on one of the journeys we went on, it was the water from where the mermaids were was getting polluted or poisoned by what was in space coming in. So they had to move from the water onto the beach, onto the land, and that's when the females, yeah,
they evolved it to the situation
from the back to the front.
From the back to the front because the sand was burning obviously their sexual organs, so that everything went from the back of them to the front of them.
Back to the front, yeah.
And that's when they evolved legs as well.
Evolved legs, because we was involved with re-evolving it to do the right way around.
Yeah.
And then
reconnecting their sexual.
Reconnecting it to be the right way round.
Yeah.
And then they communicate with like a rainbow, and the rainbow goes from their head to head to head and over the top. But the rainbow is half the size of a normal rainbow. It's quite a purpley reddy sort of colour. So they do arcs and they communicate with the arcs. It's like
like a telepathy, but like a
sexual telepathy visual one.
Yeah.
And then and then you've got these different colours of a rainbow, but there's only about 3 colours in it. Yeah. And I went at the time. I went, oh my word! I wonder if that's what got seen. Yeah. At Loch Ness when they're seeing the arches, with the mermaids communicating with each other.
Because it was a black and white photo.
It's a black and white photo, wasn't it?
So we wouldn't have known it was a rainbow.
Wouldn't have known it was a rainbow. And they communicate with. And
we asked Shelley if she could do a painting of it.
Do a painting of it for us, so we can visualise it.
For it.
Yeah.
Because we got taken to a place, didn't we? And it was they were seen or spotted, so we had to move the whole landmass and then hide them somewhere else. And I was like, I wonder if that's where they got taken. Because England many years ago was a lot hotter than it is now.
Yeah.
I mean, you used to have elephants.
It was tropical.
It was tropical. So
good.
Yeah.
Even up north.
Yeah, the Bristol Channel. There's actual evidence on the Bristol Channel, isn't there?
Elephants,
of it being tropical.
Elephants. I think.
There's hippopotamus.
Everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it was tropical. Yeah. So we was wondering, weren't we? So she's going to do some paintings of it, so we can sort of start visualising stuff that we actually do, which is quite nice, actually, isn't it?
Yeah, lovely.
But yeah, hold on.
Who's that noise?
I don't know.
Do you think somebody's trying to get in contact with us?
I think it's Terry.
I think it's Terry.
That's Terry.
Terry.
She's gone all roboty on us again.
Yeah.
She has.
Are you there, Terry? Terry, I've just muted you to see if it was you. And yeah.
I am here. I had to take my headphones off, my earbuds.
Ah.
So we've been on here
You
3
went
hours.
roboty
But that when we were dealing with the Planet Purple, and we got taken to that wall with a stone, and we've seen all the animals in it, and we've seen all the faces in it, and you could hear the actual wall going boom, 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 boom. It was knocking at us, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And that's when we have
the energy was trapped in it, wasn't it?
yeah, we have actually got
A piece of it.
We bought a piece of it back, and we smashed the piece off, didn't we? We gave that to Tash, didn't we?
Yeah.
And she's like, wow, vibration off it. But when we got it back, it's full of quartz.
All right.
When I opened it up, it glitters like it's full of quartz. And it's got little fossils in there as well, but they look like
That's why what? Sorry.
I said that's what I think they're mining for.
Say that
They
again,
think
Terry, sorry.
like it's other things, but I think it's like minerals. That's what they're going for, like the quartz.
Yeah. I mean, that graveyard we went to was a pretty special place, wasn't it?
It was amazing.
As graveyards go, it was amazing, wasn't it? Absolutely amazing, wasn't it? Well, I'll tell you what we'll have to do. We'll have to do an aerial shot. We'll go on Google Earth and we'll do an aerial shot of the graveyard and the wall to see if anybody else feels anything from it.
That's a good idea.
Yeah,
That is a very good idea. Please do so.
Yeah.
Because it. Shall we do that?
Well, we've got some photographs.
Yeah,
Yeah.
So we'll share them as well.
We'll share them.
Yeah.
And I managed to find a loose bit of stone. Yeah. So what I've done is I've broke it all up and put it into bits if anybody wants any bits of it, isn't it?
Yeah.
I've only got so much of it. I'm going to take the wall down.
Well, we could.
We
We're
could.
not getting trouble. To be fair, though, it looks like somebody's already took half of it down.
Yeah, half of it's gone, isn't it?
Yeah.
That was that. I mean, that was all about getting the consciousness out from the ground and bringing it out, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was trapped.
It was trapped. Yeah.
It was trapped in and dying. Wasn't it?
Yeah. Oh, it stunk. Oh my God. Did it?
I didn't smell it, thank you.
Oh God, the smell of it. Oh my God. When we brought everybody back from the death, and I'm like, oh my God, it stinks, man.
I didn't smell it, thank goodness. Otherwise, I'd have been throwing up.
It was horrific. I got all these. I got all these like ghosties, whatever you want to call them, at the door that have been trapped underwater for years. And oh my God, they stunk.
All rotting and stuff.
Oh my God, the smell was horrific. It was on my clothes. Of course, the energy's coming to me. It's coming through the house, landing all over me. My clothes smell of it. I smell of it. And I'm like, do something. And the energies are
Can
working.
we recode it? Please.
Yeah, I was like, what is it? And then,
Something nice.
oh God. So like, literally, you've got smells, you got this, you got that, everything, isn't it? I even cut myself. When we was doing the energies, and one of the energies we deal with, it's almost like a metal, yeah, and it absorbs, sort of like goes onto your skin. It feels really weird because it lands on you, and it's like a metal mesh, and you can feel it. And then it absorbs into your skin. Yeah, but then over the time, I can actually get it and pull the metal strands literally out from my arms, like that. It was nature going more technical, so it doesn't dissolve anymore. It almost like hasn't got a shelf life. It doesn't rot.
It was like the health and safety of nature had actually upgraded so that it could speak itself and look after itself. And always be at optimum.
Yeah, always be at optimum and don't degrade and rot and everything else. And then I could pull the wires literally out of my arm or out the end of my fingers. So when we was blending energies together, it was literally, as I was flicking it out from my nails, it was coming out like a cheese wire.
Yeah.
Like a very, very, very thin cheese wire.
And cheese
As I
wire.
was flicking it out and blending all the energies together, You can feel it burning underneath my nail, like it being pulled out too fast. You can only pull it out so fast. It's like the heat underneath my nails. Like so we got a match on your nail because it was coming out too fast. And when we was mixing the
You
energy,
definitely see it better. I could definitely. I struggle seeing some of it, and I could definitely see it better.
Yeah. I was messing around with it, and it actually cut my hand. It actually like cheese wired my hand and went straight to my finger. I was like, oh my god, I've actually cut myself on anything.
Yeah.
But then over a period of time, it goes through different transformations, and then it goes to like a white pulp, but a wire, but pulls out. It pulls out from the ends of your nails, doesn't it?
Mm.
Or you can pull it out from your skin, or you can pull it out from the sofa, or the floor, or anything else. Or a computer.
The ashtray.
The ashtray. Or I can go into the computer and pull it from you and pull it out, and it pulls out, doesn't it?
Yeah.
That's something we've only just started investigating, though, isn't it? Really.
Yeah.
That's all a bit new. That's all a bit new, but
nice though, because it's like you can really see it like really clearly.
yeah. And then when I'm polishing the energy, as in like blending and polishing, it's sort of like it's like a force field. You can actually lean against it, can't you? You can actually push against it. And it's like it pushes back, and it's like
a bit more physical, isn't it?
It's like clear glass energy, yeah. And you polish it, and you can actually push it, and it's rock solid, and it pushes back on you, doesn't it?
Yeah.
But when I'm blending it, when I was blending it, I could feel the bits of wires that was still in it, so I had to blend the wire out and keep polishing it until it all went smooth and everything. So the bits of wire, you can even feel the bits of wire hanging off bits of my wrist. Because what it does is, when I'm doing something, the energy wraps itself around my wrist.
Like
connects to me around my.
It's like holding your hand, isn't it?
Yeah, and then at the end of what we've been doing, I have to unwind it all off my wrists and off my arms. There's coils of it, and I have to keep getting rid of it all to get it all off my arms, don't I?
Mm.
It's like having loads of sellotape all around you, and you have to unwind it all and get it all off to clear to finish, don't you?
Mm.
But a lot of the time now, it will wrap itself around my fingertips or whatever it's got to wrap itself around. And as I'm blending, when I'm finished blending or what I'm doing, ping, it's finished, it's gone. So I know it just gives me the exact amount, whatever I've got to do. And when it's finished, it comes off.
No more, no less.
No more, no less.
Right.
Yeah.
Like a recipe, isn't it?
So once you go into these sort of parallels, there's no coming home until you're finished. Is there?
No.
No.
Which is wicked, really.
I hate to do this, but I gotta go. It's been a while. My dog, he needs to get out and run for a while. I separate them because they don't get along. So it's been great. I love you guys. Have a great night.
No worries. Well, to be fair, we've been. You know what? We've been doing that for 2.5 hours.
Yeah.
I love you guys.
Can we call it a day there, shall we, folks? Is everybody?
Yeah. We call it a day.
Yeah.
Love you.
See you later.
I love you all.
Yeah.
Love you, bye.
Is there anything?
Stay online and have a quick chit chat.
Can do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
All right. So say goodbye to everyone on YouTube.